Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this info session. With me from the SOSA team are a few of my team members. We have Daphne, our VP Corporate Innovation, the person in charge of the entire corporate innovation practice of SOSA globally. We have Ronnie, our VP Business Development, and Jonathan, our Chief Analyst. So thank you again for joining. First, I hope that everyone is in good health and feeling well. These are indeed very challenging times, I believe, for all of us, which are characterized by, I would even say, complete uncertainty in almost every aspect, but also by the acute needs that have arisen all over the world. The need to flatten the curve, the need to monitor and take care of large populations to understand what's going on, to keep businesses and services running as much as possible. And also what we hear in the past couple of weeks, to start figuring out how the new normal will look like and how can we prepare for this new reality. Will it be closer to what we knew before? Will it be closer to the new circumstances that we now experience? And how exactly will the mix of these two realities look like? We also see quite naturally similar challenges in almost every place around the world. And we see the role of innovation leaders within organizations, public sector and private sector. We see their role becoming more and more significant as it is clear everywhere that immediate solutions, supplies, and technologies need to be sourced quite immediately to answer the current challenges. The conversation with our corporate clients, with the city and states that we've been working for in the past years, has led us to put together this unique COVID-19 innovation program for cities and countries and for corporates who provide services to cities around the world. The goal of the program, very simply, is to act as a very practical, results-oriented series of sessions to identify and quickly implement solutions that will help cope with the current situation, to also strengthen your global network and hear firsthand from experts, but not only from experts, also from your peers around the world, to understand the benchmarks, best practices, successes and failures also in implementing technologies and so on. So this focused 3 months program is starting April 20 in about 2 weeks. And today we will share with you the details of the program. All the activities, by the way, are based on our experience from the past weeks. We've moved our entire business to online remotely. We've been running these activities, the roundtables, the expert sessions, the exclusive demo days for our corporate clients and corporate partners in the past month with great success. And we have everything was built and crafted according to our lessons learned. So I invite you also to use the Q&A button that you see on your screen. Please feel free to submit your questions at any time, and I will do my best to address all your inquiries. So maybe I'll start for those of you who meet us for the first time virtually. I'll just start with some brief background about SOSA. We are a corporate innovation company with innovation centers around the world. In Tel Aviv was our first center, then New York City second, and we just launched London in a partnership a couple of months ago. And we also have partnerships with governments and cities around the world, which connect our global network to Latin America, to Europe, in Spain, to Australia. We've been working with the Australian government for the past 4 years. And our job really is to build, craft, and execute open innovation initiatives for large organizations, corporates, governments, and cities. And eventually our unbiased innovation programs are focused towards identifying best-in-class tech solutions and talent, and to facilitate business engagements that eventually lead to implementations. Just a snapshot to have some more color on our activity and areas of expertise. So you will see here a mix of Fortune 100 companies, but also cities and countries around the world, the city of Cologne, New York City, which I'll touch briefly, Intralab Germany, Vizcaya, the Basque Country, CNI from Brazil, the Australian government, and then you see here leading corporates from HP through Siemens, Schneider Electric, who just joined, Zurich Insurance, active in 200 countries, 2 of the largest global reinsurers, and so on and so on. And our job really is to understand the need in the market, to identify the technologies, and to support the engagement up to fast implementations of advanced solutions from outside the organization. On a yearly basis, we connect more than 2,000 technologies to the global markets with hundreds of curated interactions and about 100 deals closed. A deal means a pilot, which usually leads to a successful implementation of technology. So this is all, our business is all very much practical, and it's all about results. A word about New York. We were recently, well, it's a year ago, we were chosen by the city of New York to build and run the Global Cyber Center of New York City, which is a big operation that is already running and managed from SOSA New York. So what we see when it comes to COVID-19 and innovation and technology is that the role of innovation and technology leaders is becoming very, very significant. This is obviously connected to the acute and immediate needs that we see all around the world, but also as a preparation for the new normal, which is something that companies and cities and countries are already considering, thinking about, and seeing how can they even analyze based on data, based on sensors, based on information, analyze the new behaviors and adapt their services and support to their populations and employees. We also see that it's a pretty much a cross-vertical effort because obviously, well, you have health, you have digital health, you have telemedicine, of course, which is an obvious need, and supplies and medical supplies, which are obvious needs, but you also have in smart cities transportation, and you also have analytics, and you also have many technologies from different areas, which all of a sudden have use cases that can ease the COVID-19 crisis and challenges. So we see very much a cross-vertical effort, and we will touch upon that when we get to the content of the program. So the program itself is a one-of-a-kind 3-month program. We put it together for this specific situation, and it will focus on answering states and cities' needs by providing access to technology solutions for immediate implementations, as well as build resilience for the aftermath. So again, very much practical. The general overview of the program will consist of 4 online demo days. The demo days, again, will focus around technologies and solutions which are ready for immediate deployment. We will also include expert roundtables, expert and peers, I would say, roundtables for state and city teams and officials. And we will be putting together an industry insights report, which we will then in the 3rd month share with you, present to you, answer your questions about it, and then send it over to you. Throughout the entire program, our teams of analysts will be available for the program participants and analysts to provide facilitated industry introductions. So it's not only about listening, but it's a very interactive and engaging program where our analysts will be available to speak with you, understand what is the specific angle of the challenges that you are facing, make sure that we also include technologies that answer your specific needs, and then when there is a suitable solution, facilitate the engagement to make sure that we actually have successes and successful implementations. This is the timeline. We plan to kick off the program on April 20 in about 2 weeks. And you see here a series of 4 demo days around different topics. You see the expert and peers roundtable somewhere during the 2nd month, and then the industry report that we'll put together, present, and then distribute towards the end of the program. So we will start by discussing the demo days. Here we drill down a little bit more into the content itself. And the demo days, obviously the theme is to flatten the curve, and you will see also how we understand it as a cross-vertical effort. So this will be a series of 4 demo days with the subject that you see below: healthcare and digital health, cyber and homeland security, smart cities, then sustainability and well-being. And the focus within these areas will be finalized according to the participants' most pressing needs. So we have the pool of technologies, we know the companies, we already actively working with our corporate clients around these verticals, but specific companies who will be presenting to the program participants will eventually be refined and finalized according to the participants' actual needs. I'm now pleased to hand the remote microphone to Daphne, our VP Corporate Innovation, which will share with you a little more in-depth information about the specific technologies that you should expect to hear and to listen to and to engage with during the demo days.
So thank you very much, Uzi. Very nice to meet you. So as Uzi said, we'll be focusing on 4 different verticals during this program, which we identified as most critical for cities and governments around the world. And what I will do now is basically go over each vertical and explain the general focus and give examples of startups that are part of our network already that are leading in these areas. Either they had the solution before or they actually pivoted specifically for the COVID-19 crisis. So in healthcare and digital health, we'll be focusing on tech solutions that can help cities and governments monitor and treat citizens and patients efficiently without them actually coming to the hospitals and burdening the hospitals, and trying to remain to have the medical teams contactless from the ill, so they can be safe. So a few examples of leading technologies in this area. So one very good startup we're working with is a startup that enables to have medical grade AI triage for remote detection and monitoring of patients. So this basically enables to detect and monitor patients outside of the hospital so they don't have to come in. And those having to come in are only those that actually need care. Another example, great example, is a startup doing technologies around AI-based voice analytics platforms to detect illness through the phone. Also, infrared thermal imaging technology to detect body temperatures from far away. So even when someone, a carrier or infected person, is coming closer to the hospital from far away, you can identify if he has a temperature or not and treat him as needed. Other home devices enabling health professionals to detect and monitor patients from the house, and so on and so forth. In cyber and homeland security, there are 2 main areas of focus. So one, everybody's working remotely from home. Also doctors as well are treating patients, or at least talking to them remotely. So there's a high need to prevent attacks, cyber attacks, both in medical facilities. So there's one great startup that has advanced cutting-edge technologies to protect connected medical devices and teams in hospital and clinics against all over the globe, and they're actually been used in hospitals around the world. Another startup that has a technology to identify insecure IoT and edge devices. So if I am a corporate and one of my employees is working through their phone at home, they're basically making the whole network susceptible to cyber attacks. So how can we identify all of these edge devices and IoT devices and make sure that they're not hacked? The other focus area that we'll be looking at is how can we use homeland security solutions to help monitor the COVID-19 crisis. So actually here in Israel, there are a lot of different solutions that have been used from different HLS teams to actually treat and monitor this pandemic. So for instance, one example is basically using your your location carrier device to see who you are infecting around you if you are an identified sick person. Another one is basically video analytics to identify who was around you and where you were going. So that's just 2 examples in HLS, but there are many more, of course, here in Israel. The next 2 verticals, so the next one is smart cities. So I think in the last 2 months, cities around the world have understood how important it is to have smarter city data and smarter infrastructure to enable, first of all, to understand what's happening in your city and enable quick actionable insights, and also have services that would enable the city to reduce density and basically enable social distances. So just a few examples of technologies that we will be showing. So there's specifically one startup that has been used also in Italy and Singapore to predict hotspots all over the country and basically give actionable insights to where you should actually use social distancing to flatten the curve. Another one in terms of infrastructure is a service that would enable last mile delivery platforms. So businesses are closing down, how can you take all these SMBs and mobilize and manage their deliveries in a very fast and agile way so they don't lose their businesses during these times? And of course, there's another technology like platforms to efficiently create contingency and alternative transportation plans during these times. In terms of sustainability and well-being, so we've seen people staying at home, elderly, senior people staying at home, not being able to go outside, and people not moving much, and they need to be treated and basically monitored as these times are happening. So anything from remote voice analytics and contactless monitoring of elderly, other things like predictive analytics of energy management because people are staying at home and spending more money around energy, and advanced systems to connect municipalities and citizens so that citizens have greater access to their municipalities and can talk to them and say if they're satisfied, not satisfied, or if they have different problems. So all of these areas will be focused and will be covered during the program. And as Uzi mentioned, as part of this program, we'll be working very close with you to understand what are your most pressing needs so that we can be really tailor-made to your needs.
Thank you very much, Daphne. So Daphne is at SOSA, is leading the team of analysts in Tel Aviv and in New York, who will curate the technologies and prepare the tech companies and refine the use cases to make sure that we answer the most urgent needs with practical solutions. So the roundtable will be a forum, a closed, intimate forum with experts, but also with peers around the world. And really the purpose of this is to have a place where you can discuss best practices here and understand benchmarking around the world, also see and get exposed to cross-industry initiatives during these times. And really the roundtable will enable the sharing and exchange of such data and lessons learned and knowledge and tools and case studies, to also have the opportunity to discuss the challenges and the opportunities for building new tech solutions and discuss ways how to quickly implement them in the short, obviously medium, but also in the long range. Because again, we are already part of quite some conversations that are dealing with the day after or the aftermath. And probably this will be a very, very slow transition into something new, probably hybrid of the old normal and the current normal. This will be the new normal. You will also have the opportunity to explore innovative partnerships, co-creation processes and strategies into state or city level planning and development. So again, from our experience, these type of activities, these roundtables where you put together people who have the similar roles, similar circumstances, and quite the same needs. So there is a lot of very, very valuable data and data sharing which is going on in these forums. Our analysts will be putting together the industry insights report. So during this month, 2 months, and based on the current needs and current challenges and based on lessons learned and the demo days, we keep accumulating data and knowledge, learning, putting it together into a detailed report that will share the trends, the emerging technologies, case studies, industry facts, and so on. This report will be presented to the program participants in a live presentation with a Q&A session, and we will then be sending it over to you, the report itself. And again, throughout the entire program, you can expect full access to our analysts, and the purpose really is to enable and to provide analyst-facilitated industry introductions. Eventually, at the end of the day, it's one organization or city or country and a specific technology that can solve a problem, and we need to very fast and very quickly create the conditions for these two entities to work together and to enjoy the fruits and the value of these technologies. So this is what our analysts are here for, and also for consultation. If there is a dilemma, or if there is a due diligence process, or if you want to dive deep into, before even meeting or actually working with a technology, our analysts are available exactly for this. And this is what they've been doing on a regular basis and are remotely. So we come closer to towards the end of the session, and what you will be leaving with this program. So what you would expect to achieve is first of all, again, very practical, market ready, proven technology solutions for immediate implementation. These are the immediate results, but also an overall understanding of the biggest challenges of your peers around the world. Some places around the world are 3 weeks into this pandemic before other places, and there are some lessons learned. And some places have different demographics, different industries that they need to keep running, and so on, and to see how they are solving them. But also a suite of cutting-edge tech solutions tailored for your specific needs, and also supported by our expert opinions for each subject matter for the aftermath. So we also start preparing and thinking about how life will look in the coming month, in the coming year. And of course, the detailed report that we will be sending to you, which will cover all the facts, figures, insights, and technologies that will be reviewed during the program. So that's basically the program, and with this, I'm again inviting you to submit your questions if you have any. I know that this is a closed session, and we've invited very specific people. We have a few dozens of participants on the line with us, and I know that each and every one of you has been invited by someone from the SOSA team. So feel free to submit your question here, or just to follow up with a team member from SOSA with whom you are already in touch. Okay, so I have a question here. Oh, maybe someone from the team can help me because the Q&A, okay, I see a couple of questions. Okay, so someone from the team, if you can just text the questions to me, and in the meantime, I will answer the first one, which I already got, which refers to the experts. So the experts are around a specific vertical, and I'll just go back to this. We have healthcare and digital health, we have cyber and homeland security, smart cities, sustainability, and well-being. So at SOSA, in our global network, we have a network of matter experts for each of these topics with which we've been dealing in the past year and working in the past years. And to every session, the demo day, but also, of course, the roundtable, and also to be accessible on an ongoing basis throughout the program, we have experts from the industry, senior people from the cyber security industry, from healthcare and digital health, insurance expert, because a lot of it has a lot to do with insurance these days, and so on. So that's the question about the experts. Now let's see. Where are the technologies that you're scouting coming from? Which country? Okay, so I'll just go back. I'll go back to the map in the beginning of the presentation. And basically, this is our global footprint. So I can say that the center of gravity of our sourcing of technologies is from Israel, East Coast, and the UK. Having said that, we also have the connected ecosystems where we have years of visibility into technologies and technologies that are being developed there. And I hope that this answered the question. Can you please share the recording with participants? Of course, after this session, we will be sending you an email with the link to the recording with great pleasure. Are you looking for more startups with COVID-19 solutions to work with, or the pool of startups you're already working with is closed? So we are always happy to get familiar with emerging technologies, with new technologies. I have a lot of appreciation to our analysts, but nobody knows everything, right? So we are always happy to meet more companies and to get to know new companies. Please feel free to answer the email that we will be sending after this session, or to reach out to us with pleasure. Let's see. Yeah. So there's a question here about the actual attention that city and state officials are able to free or to give to this kind of initiative. So My answer is the following. The purpose of this program, this is not, I would say, a typical, if you want, open innovation program, which in regular times, part of its purpose is also to open your mind, thinking out of the box and so on. The purpose of this program is to come and very quickly answer the acute problems that cities and states are facing now. That's the purpose of the program, and this is the message that we are trying to convey. And I encourage you. We received this question not from a city official, but from a significant player from one of the states in the United States. So this is the message. Therefore, in 3 months, we've planned 4 online sessions of about an hour and a half, 1 expert roundtable, and that's it. But they are all very practical, highly curated, and I hope that this can help bring the attention of the right people to these kind of programs, because the thing is that with the challenges going on around the world now, it is clear that the solution will come from external technologies. I won't say only from external technologies, because some organizations have some development capabilities, but to implement something which is already working and was tested elsewhere around the world, whether it's monitoring patients, monitoring people who are close to patients, telemedicine, smart transportation, right? Cybersecurity. These are all, from our experience, technologies that need to be sourced from the outside. So my humble take is that some bandwidth should be freed to these type of activities, and we are very happy to jump on additional calls to convey this message and to explain how we see this program working. Okay, now I have a question about who would be the best point of contact to ask questions. Someone from the government of Canada, Aaron. Thank you for the question. That's actually our last slide. I'm happy to answer more questions, by the way, but here, just to address your question, you can see here Ronnie's email, Ronnie, VP Business Development of SOSA globally. So please feel free to submit your question here. We will also be sending an email with the recording. Please feel free to share it with those organizations that you feel this could be of interest to them or valuable for them, of course, and we will be very happy to further discuss this with them. Do you help to facilitate the implementations? Yeah, so the answer is yes, and this is exactly the role of our corporate innovation team. We've been facilitating POCs and implementations in the past years, hundreds of them, hundreds of transactions, and we will be helping in this facilitation, which is the essence of the program. This is where we will see the actual results coming from. I have a question here about the cost of the program. So this is a very important question. The program has a cost associated with it, and the cost of the entire program, it's a one-time fixed fee of $25,000. I will say a word about that. The price was actually a bit higher. We received feedback from dozens of peers around the world in cities and states with some benchmarks for which they are able to deploy fast programs, and since it was very important for them to do something fast and not to have any delays for procurement and other regulations. So this is how this first cohort was fixed at. The first cohort is starting April 20. This fee for $25,000 includes the entire program. It's a one-time fee for the 3 months. And please let me know if you have more questions. By the way, every organization can bring up to 5 participants into the program for that fee. So 5 executives or government officials. Okay, so I see that there are no more questions for this morning. Again, I invite you to keep in touch and to follow up with your peer, with a contact person at SOSA through whom you were invited to this session. And I will just say that again, that I hope that everyone is in good health. Stay safe. Take care of yourself. This is a very challenging situation. We here, our team in Tel Aviv, in Israel was celebrating Passover at home with their families in Zoom, really first of its kind. Since the Hebrew people exited Egypt, that's a first of its kind Passover evening on Zoom. And happy Easter to all our friends and colleagues and partners from all over the world. We wish you a calm and safe holiday, and please feel free to reach out anytime if you have additional questions or comments or